Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Minute. It's your daily podcast in which we analyze, we scrutinize, and we celebrate The Last Jedi, 1 minute at a time. I'm Alex Robinson from alexrobinson.fun.
I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
And I'm Chris Radtke from Star Wars City. .fun.
Oh.
.fun. That's a great development. What a change. Everyone is like, this doesn't sound right.
How much are .fun? So I got to buy that Star Wars City .fun now.
Star Wars City .fun. You got to get it. Oh, you better get it before this airs tomorrow.
Now in an hour.
Well, Chris Radtke, welcome back to the program.
Hello, gentlemen. It's nice
one of our golden greats.
It's nice to see you guys after all this time. Glad you're all alive and well.
How are you finding the Josh Flanagan Memorial Lounge? Because he got the naming rights this season.
Yeah, I have found it to be exactly what I expected. It's fantastic.
All right, there you go.
It is. You know what it is? It's a safe, comfortable place. Is where it is.
Yeah.
And there's so and it is the most comprehensive Dinosaur Jr. playlist is constantly on, and I love it. It's great. A lot of live stuff and B-sides.
It's not just Start Chopping on repeat or whatever.
It's just the two best songs from Start Chopping played over and over again.
I do think it's a nice change of pace after it was Joe Dater had last season, where wasn't it just the
it was very
Flowers and Madam Live in Las Vegas just played endlessly.
Yeah, the Joe Dater lounge was a lot. It was the furniture felt a lot older than what it was. But it was
well, Chris.
Do you have anybody else I could insult?
Well, it's still early yet, so let's get going with the episode. I'm sure we got a lot of. Well, we're talking about minute 21, of course. Minute 21 of The Last Jedi starts off with Rey telling Luke that the First Order is only growing stronger, and it ends a minute later with Rey following Luke as he goes about his day in the life of Ahch-To.
He does his Jedi business.
Getting stronger every day. So we're talking about The Last Jedi.
We are.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's great.
Well, let me ask you right off the bat here. We get Hermit Luke. What are your feelings on Hermit Luke?
I never thought you'd ask.
Pro-Hermit Luke? Anti-Hermit.
Pro-Hermit Luke. Like, I am the most pro-Hermit Luke you could ever possibly find.
You're a Hermit monster.
Yeah, of all of the guests that you'll have this season, you'll be hard pressed to find someone more supportive of the where Luke Skywalker's Act 3 led him to. It is fantastic. Is this what we should be talking about right off the bat? Like, this is it, right? This is what everyone. This is the controversy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have a week to sprinkle it out over, but it's mainly that's mainly what's going on.
So, Hermit Luke. So Hermit Luke is, when I saw it and you had that kind of moment of like, this is where they went with this. And it made perfect sense to me almost immediately. Not necessarily. So storyline wise, I think it's interesting, right? And it's definitely a curveball that none of us expected. And none of us thought like that was how Luke's story was going to end. But when you think about, what's the practicality of this, Mark Hamill is not a great actor. I am sorry, everybody. I know there's a record.
The greatest actor.
He's the greatest actor. No. So, look, anyone who's going to be like, Mark Hamill, the Joker and all the voices, I'm like, yes, he's an exceptional voice actor. But as a actor in front of the camera, like the guy, like Jedi ended, and where are you going to go? You're going to tell me the Guyver really was the thing that it was unsung, Oscar winner right there.
Slipstream, you got
the Big Red One was his best role post, outside of Luke Skywalker up until the voice acting. So you were never going to get a Luke Skywalker, either grizzled battle-hardened hero or, you know, kind of stoic knight, you know, or like all of like the wise leader. You were always going to get a Luke Skywalker out of this guy that was going to be a ham performance, and that's what he is as an actor.
That's Harrison Ford.
Yes.
Oh, ham
salad.
Ham salad. So he's a lot like ham salad in the, you know. So, but so he winds up. So the thing is, you were never going to get a Mark Hamill that could deliver the gravitas of what everyone envisioned this Luke Skywalker Jedi Master kind of thing. So you're going to get him playing weird dumpster guy. You're going to get him being like, doing all the mugging for the camera. And, who are you? And all that. Like, that's what he's good at. And he killed it. Like, they played to his strengths as an actor. And that's why the performance you get is, you know, this kind of broken, weird guy that lives behind the supermarket, and I built a little shanty out of old pallets, and you know, gets the, you know, it's like there's a whole thing there that he, as an actor, could not have fulfilled. And imagine if it was going to be like, you know, the reveal of Skywalker in, you know, Skywalker Castle was like, hooray! I've finally been waiting for you. Like, that would have been like, he would have been ridiculed.
Oh my gosh, that would have been great. Imagine it's all cheesy and like all like white with statues of Luke everywhere. He's like, "Welcome to Skywalker Castle." That would have been a totally different direction. But
I've been expecting you, Rey.
And that's how her whatever at this point her name might be.
Yeah,
that would have been the reveal.
Revealed.
Right.
Like, welcome, Rey. You know, your blocker.
Yes, exactly.
Skywalker. No, she would have been Skywalker.
Well,
no, it would have been. Yeah, it would have been.
I don't like that. What if I call you Skywalker instead? There you go. That's
perfect.
Right.
No, it would have been, and then he would have had like his page. You know, his page boy would be like, she would walk in.
Fixer would have been like his lackey,
and he would have been like, ooh. And then there would be like a ridiculous alien major domo being like that. Oh, and C-3PO would be so polished and be like, "Hear ye." So yeah, Castle Skywalker. That's like, he could not have delivered that. That would have been the worst disaster. If they had let him go and do that. So instead, this is what you get. And you get a guy at the top of his weirdo, you know, game, delivering a great weirdo performance. Story-wise, we'll get into that over the next few days.
Yeah. I do like the idea of like the map to Luke Skywalker leads to like behind the Safeway. And like,
Totally.
It's pointing right, unless R2-D2 was wrong. And
let me
what do you want?
Just this and see. He says he's behind the Safeway, the Spaceway Safeway.
The Spaceway.
So, yeah, and when I remember, like, when, you know, here's the. I know we don't like talking about the toys, but before The Last Jedi came out, you know, my wife tracked down a 3¼ inch sized vintage collection black box Luke Skywalker in his white robes. And it's before you knew anything. Like, all you knew was, here's a Luke Skywalker as a cool old Jedi. And I remember she gave me that, you know, about a month or two before the movie came out, whenever it came, because it came out before. And I remember just staring at this thing, being like, where is his lightsaber? Why does he not have a lightsaber? And so like when my buddy, you know, who's a film critic, saw it before me, and like I had to be like, does he wield his lightsaber? And he's like, well, kind of. I'm like, what? And that's kind of was when I started to realize that, like, oh, there's going to be something different going on here. And it was,
your expectations are going to be undermined.
Yeah. And it was, but when I saw it and what was happening, then I was like, this is perfect. Perfect, exactly how this should play out.
It's good for Luke. It's Luke. It's Luke. It's the way that, and you know, we were talking about this with Josh a couple weeks ago, that, like, you know, his Luke is different than our Luke. Yeah. In terms of, you know, he had Luke up on a pedestal, and I you know, I love Luke. I'm much more of a Luke than a Han, but I also see that that's where his character would go. Like, I don't Like
I
Luke in Return of the Jedi never seemed fully natural or comfortable with that responsibility and that power.
Right.
He seemed like he always just on the verge of just being, he is the farm boy still.
Well, what's interesting is, and Flanagan and I are very similar in so many ways, but one of the things that I agree, like I actually put Luke on this pedestal. As a character, Luke is, for me, like I am always attracted to the lawful good characters. So I love Captain America. I love, and it's not this, I mean, it is something that it was always for me. It's a distinction between good and evil, and I'm always in the camp of like the most heroic hero. So Captain America, Luke Skywalker, those are my guys. And so I am definitely in that camp where I'm like, I want to see the Luke Skywalker of Skywalker Castle. But that we would never get that with this guy. And also as someone who, like, I'm an old man now. So, like, you're not the same person you are when you were 18. You share similarities, but you go through some stuff, man. We all got our trauma, and so does Luke Skywalker. He's got worse trauma than any of us, man.
So before you said that this was Luke's, like, this is specific to Luke. This all three Jedi Masters that we meet in the movie, Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Luke, all at one point consider themselves failures and have to go into hiding. But they all take being called back into the game in different ways. Like, Luke is just like, leave me alone, get out of here. Whereas Yoda was like, a bit more judgmental. Like he kind of like put Luke to test and then was like, nah, I'm not going to train him. Like, he wasn't like angry the way Luke is. He was just kind of like, nah, this kid's a loser. Whereas Luke was just kind of like, like it has more to do with him than the student.
Right.
And Obi-Wan, of course, is just like, well, sure, I'd be glad to get back into the game. He was just all too eager to go. Of course, I'll train you.
Lessons are 49 credits each.
Well, since your aunt and uncle are dead already, I guess we might as well. So I do like that they all have sort of different approaches to their hermitdom.
Yes.
Hermitage.
The hermitage.
And I also like the fact that it kind of parallels the fact that we never see really Darth Vader. We never see Luke as his peak Jedi the same way we never see Darth Vader as his, like, we don't see the years when he's Darth Vader as the Emperor's, like, will. You know what I mean? We don't see him as this badass. We see him when he becomes a monster, and then we see him when he's all old, and so it's kind of nice that just as Anakin's, the prime of his career was a mystery to us, Luke's also was kind of, vague and stuff. And of course, then in The Mandalorian, we kind of had a nice parallel with that with Rouge One, where we do see Luke in his prime.
You get a couple of glimpses.
For a tiny,
You don't
get skeptical?
No, I'm reacting to those shots of Jedi in their prime.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Getting back, let's go back to the reyes plea here. Reyes plea.
Reyes plea.
Reyes plea Gibson.
Reyes plea. I want some more.
She is saying that they need him because the First Order will control all the major systems within weeks. And I was like, well, is that because of the Hosnian system? Because they blew up the Republic? And that's in the novelization. She expands on that a little bit more. She's like, yeah, ever since the destruction of the Republic, now they'll control all the major systems within weeks. And so, again, it's the
she needed urgency. She's got, come on.
I know, but we want we'll never be happy with the amount of exposition towards the politics of the galaxy, because it's always just like, that was too much, that was not enough. Like, I guess the Star Wars is the sweet spot where it's just like, hey, guess what? Like,
it was like, look, now it's an hour never, Luke Skywalker. The world needs we need a Luke Skywalker again. Well, I forgot exactly how she says it, but she's like, get me a Luke Skywalker, please.
The 6-inch Luke Skywalker.
I'll take the Luke Skywalker. Where's his lightsaber?
We have to remember that, like Chris is pointing out here, this is a series of children's movies, and as much as
just stop that, Alex Robinson.
Stodgy old adults want to hear about the taxation of trade routes and stuff. When you're a kid, the worst scenes are the Imperial office room and Obi-Wan. So
no, that argument.
What?
That argument is out the window because
save your big backstories for TV. We don't.
No, there's a generation of kids that will die for the prequels.
Story. Will die with the prequels?
No, those '90s kids who like that willed the prequels and the redemption of the prequels into existence. Right. They love Trade Federation intrigue.
But even that is just a tiny drop in the bucket of what I want to know about what's going on in the galaxy.
Sure, but I'm arguing.
We want West Wing. We want West Wing.
I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing that you for this farce that you've put out all these years of like, oh, they're just kid movies. Oh, these baby toys. And I know you, Alex Robinson. I know what you're doing.
I have nothing against children's movies. The Wizard of Oz, great children's movie.
Not saying you. No. It's a way to sidestep and being like, oh, don't put this stuff in. No. Just trying to find that middle ground. So
personally, I think of the Wizard of Oz, they should have had more information about how the Winkies and the Quadlings all interact, and the movie. Where was that? It's like, well, what about the Gillikins? Where are they?
We're saving that for the six episode Scarecrow TV series.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing!
I've said this since reading a lot of the Oz books recently. I was like, they should totally just do because I think they control. I think Warner Brothers controls the rights, so they should totally just do an HBO Max series, like a prestige kids series in a sense. So like CG, kind of not creepy Uncanny Valley Polar Express CG, but like do a Frozen style, like like Pixar, but not the creepy Pixar humans, but like Disney animation, new computer animation style series of Oz movies based on the character designs of the original movie.
I mean, that would be so. Now wait, you're reading the books. Pumpkinhead is a character in these books, right?
Yeah, Jack Pumpkinhead.
As a kid, whenever
not the Pumpkinhead,
Pumpkinhead, the horror beast,
the horror movie, yeah.
But I as a kid, I used to get so bent out of shape because there was a bunch of ancillary Wizard of Oz adjacent stuff released in the 80s. Like I feel like cartoons were around and they would lean on the source material, but me not knowing the source material, like, why do they keep pushing this Pumpkinhead guy on me? And he's not, and it has nothing to do with the Wizard of Oz, and it's always all Pumpkinhead.
Poor man's Scarecrow.
Yes, and I was like, get this Pumpkinhead out of here. And then the Pumpkinhead horror movie, Clive Barker's Pumpkinhead happens, and I'm like, anyway.
It's he's a good character. He's a little bit like Data, I think. Oh no, or am I confusing him with somebody else? Anyway. There's a lot of characters in those books. Yeah. Speaking of a lot of characters, Skywalker.
There's a thing that happens here.
Okay.
No, you say what you're going to say, and I'll.
I was going to say Luke Skywalker kind of addresses directly the expectations of the fans. So, like, what do you think? I'm just going to show up with a laser sword and.
Oh my God! He says laser sword. Laser sword. Like the fact there is no bigger insult that you can say to a Star Wars fan or a Star Warrior by calling a lightsaber a laser sword. Laser sword. If you call it if in the Star Wars minute context, mentioning calling them laser swords is a self-owned, like kind of self-deprecation type, vibe. But laser swords is what people say if they're ignorant to Star Wars. Oh, they got to be into Star Wars with your laser swords, or if it's like, oh, your toys with your laser swords, pew 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 pew. And for him
or
to
it's
use
we can't afford the rights to the lightsaber. Let's call it a laser sword.
Exactly. So the fact that dumpster back alley Luke Skywalker turns around and is like and calls it laser sword, it is such Rian Johnson, God bless him, man. The guy is setting up. He shocks you with Luke tossing the lightsaber over the shoulder, right? So then you're like, and then as all of the scenes like coming after that, setting up Hermit Luke, it's one like just knock you out. Of course, all the nerds are mad. They're like, because this is an affront. This is that kind of self-deprecation that a lot of the nerds we all kind of have, where or if you don't have this, it leads to you being the ugly side. But that self-awareness and like they're like, yeah, I'm enjoying a children's movie. So there is
children's movies,
right? So the laser swords line is so good. It's so perfect. It's so layered. It's amazing, amazing writing. It is why this is arguably maybe even the best script in all of the Star Wars movies that we've seen.
Wow.
For that one line.
Laser sword is kind of like calling it Star Trek.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's a calling of Dr. Spock. Oh, you like Dr. Spock? That's exactly. It is in the same boat. So laser swords.
And, on a film study bent here for a second, that during this conversation, there's a cool thing. It's I've mentioned it before because we've seen it once or twice. And I first in school I first noticed it during in Taxi Driver. There's a subtle thing when the power shifts in the conversation here. When Luke is talking to Rey and Rey is like, we need you, and then he's like, no, like shut. If he really lets go and is just like, what do you think? I'm just going to show up with a laser sword. The camera slowly goes up, kind of. It was down, kind of with Luke down and Rey up, and the camera kind of moves up behind Luke as he's talking. So Luke kind of becomes larger. He's not the bigger Luke. That's a different theory, but he becomes kind of bigger in the frame to be kind of to have the high ground essentially cinematically. And it's a subtle thing, but it always, anytime, I love noticing that in movies where there's a subtle shift in power in the conversation, that the camera moves up with that.
Right there is NYU tuition.
Oh yeah, that's
congratulations. That was
boom, $100,000 right there.
I'm gonna go watch that again. It'll be like tish. So yeah.
You're disrupting the system by giving these pearls away.
Exactly. I also, on a less highbrow note, I also think Luke should have a go-away doormat, as seen in the not the Hammacher Schlemmer catalog. What are like the chintzy like
Sky Mall?
No, what was that catalog? And it was, and you would get it, and you'd be like, "It's here!" It was like the Sears Christmas catalog, but it was the
It was all like the goofy, like there's a lot of like novelty golf items and a lot of like
there
like
were sections.
Like
oh my god,
garden gnomes and stuff like that.
Oh, get Kevin Mayer and Joe Dater on the horn staff.
I was going to say this is going to haunt
Retroist. Where are you?
Everybody's shouting their answers as to
I've
what
got
this
some
catalog
tweets
is.
to send. Excuse me. Well, so and then the other thing that Luke says, he's like, I went off to the most unfindable planet, but I could possibly like. Luke Skywalker is the ruiner of unfindable planets. Like people went to move to Tatooine to get a fresh start in the Outer Rim. They're like, and then all of a sudden Luke Skywalker's born and lived in there, and like suddenly the farthest spot in the galaxy, the place farthest from wherever the hell the line is literally the planet that is most in all of the Star
hub
Wars.
Of all the activity.
Right, exactly. And then so he's like literally 10 years after the 10 years in time. In Yavin years, or whatever the hell they call it.
Yeah.
Right.
Ahch-To is going to be like it'll be a tourist destination, or it'll have or they'll find like, there's the other island that is just right off camera that has the other Jedi.
In 20 years, when they do episode 11, episode 10. And it's Rey training a new generation. It will be set on Ahch-To, but it'll all be turned into like a Jedi tourist, like school. It'll look like like a fancy rich kid school on Ahch-To.
That's it. And Castle
and
Skywalker.
Will all be working in the basement in the dark, but they're frogs, so they like it.
She'll be Duchess Skywalker.
Oh, wow.
I also like that Luke keeps pointing out, like, I came all this way to hide. All I did was give Max von Sydow a tiny part of the map, and then I gave what the rest of R2. I didn't think anyone would figure out how to find me here. Like, it does just also the issue of how they found it at all is never.
No, he's dude. Luke Skywalker. When Luke Skywalker moves to your planet, gentrification happens next. That is exactly what's going down.
First, you get Luke Skywalker, then you get Connecticut Muffin. Then it boom.
Space Starbucks. Space Bucks.
It's like first the funky artists move in. He's like, I've been here forever. And then Rey, then the young hipsters. And
right, yeah. Risk oblivious youth. That's what they call them.
Oh, and so the frog nuns are like the immigrants who lived there originally.
Exactly.
Who are now going to get pushed out by the waves of Euro trash.
Oh my God.
No offense.
Oh my God. No offense.
Yeah, if you'll notice, Luke, this will be a theme this week. I didn't write it for today, but notice the way that Luke kind of wants the attention and he kind of wants to be found, even though he's not saying it. Like he's like any time that it's not like he's definitely playing it up, and he wants this. He wants to be wanted back, and he's I think just afraid of being a failure.
Yeah,
but not. Yeah.
No, really.
He wants her to want him.
Didn't you read my doormat?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. This
Don't
is
you
the
think
first
it's funny
song of his new album.
the doormat go away, but it's funny.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Come inside and check out this fish I have on my wall. It sings.
Call
he
this
must get so
number.
few visitors that he's just so eager to show off all these novelty items.
Yes, he's like, listen, call my number. You know I'm there, but I'm not going to pick up. You got to hear the rap song that's on my answering machine. So yeah, it is. It's this neediness that Luke has. I also like, the other thing about this whole scene is like we've seen Chewbacca in a lot of different situations, but Chewie just sitting on a bench is the best. Because he's just kind of sitting there, and like I had when that scene ended and Luke slammed the door into his hut and she stormed off in a huff. Chewie just sat on that bench, and he was just like,
I thought he was going to shrug or like shake his head or something.
No. He's just on that bench. He's looking at the ocean. He's like,
well, he's so like
he knows
relaxed.
How Luke is. He knew what to expect.
Because his life debt is over. He's just
his life debt is over.
Oh yeah.
Chilling. He's just kind of like, all right, I'm going to help with this one thing.
Right. Dude. Chewbacca on a bench is Chewbacca with no more life debt. As soon as the life debt was he's like a
retiree.
He's just like, I'm just gonna sit here, and it's just Chewbacca sitting in various places.
Yeah,
you're like, what do I got to do?
I should have like a cardigan or something.
He's just sitting. He's Chewbacca.
Straps on his pornography helmet like his old man, and he's
like, I've been waiting a long time for this to sit on a bench, put on my pornography helmet.
Daddy needs to see Diane Carroll.
Yes, exactly. Luke, what do you think about Marceau?
We have a lot more Luke and Rey hijinks coming up the rest of this week. Anything else specific to minute number 21?
Just wanted. Well, it can carry over till tomorrow. I was going to say Rey is good at
Tell me
another theme here that Rey is good at waiting. That's what she was doing, and that's what she's doing now. So, theme for the week.
Right.
Rey is good at waiting.
Yeah,
it's not the hardest part for her.
We'll unpack that. We'll have to wait until tomorrow.
There you go.
Chris, will you be able to come back tomorrow?
Hey man, it's pandemic. I'm going nowhere. You want to do 6 weeks? You got it.
Okay, there you go. So, well, we've missed you. And did you miss us this weekend, listeners? Well, if you are one of our Patreon supporters, you wouldn't have to, because we do an episode also on Saturdays, and we do an episode even on Sundays. We never stop. We have so many opinions about Star Wars, and on weekends about hockey and Billy Joel and all sorts of crazy stuff that has nothing to do with Star Wars at all. So if you want to hear us talk about other stuff, then go to StarWarsMinute.com/Patreon and just see what all the fun's about. And and I also don't promote it enough, but you can also do stuff. You can also get like fancy prints that are drawn by me. And you can go to you can't go to a sports game with Peach because of everything going on
right now.
But
In the
But
future.
think about it for the future. Yeah. And join us in the future on the Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.